Okay.
Okay, welcome everyone. Benvenuti a tutti. We have a
Ciao.
special edition of Carlentini, Omaha, and beyond. We're gonna talk a little genealogy, but we want to start out with a little bit of a history tour. And we have with us Sandy Spalding, who was the leader of a walking tour group. Still is the leader, I believe, right, Sandy?
Yeah, it's actually a walking club.
Walking club.
Yes.
And is it AVA? I noticed a t-shirt.
You say you noticed the T-shirt?
A t-shirt that said AVA. I noticed it when I was looking at some of the images you sent me.
Yes, we are part of actually an international organization of walking clubs. Anybody with any German background, it started in Germany. It's Volksmarching, but basically it's an international walking club.
Okay, can I translate in Italian for Rosita, who is connected from Carlentini very shortly? Tonight we go back and forward.
Please.
Rosita, intanto buonasera a tutti,
Ciao.
ti saluto tutti.
Ciao.
Stasera parleremo un po' di genealogia e un po' del tour che stiamo organizzando a Omaha a piedi, e c'è Sandy Spalding, che questa signora è rappresentante di un'associazione di passeggiate, gente che cammina, di origine tedesca. È iniziato prima con la parte tedesca, però adesso è aperta a tutti. Sono dei camminatori, no? I walking, sì, sì. Nice.
Okay, Sam. The other person that was instrumental in this happening is Sherry Kanger, who we all know and love. And Sherry, how did all this originate?
Well, it was a great experience. 2 years ago, Sandy and I was contacted to open the Hall of Santa Lucia, and Sandy's group came through on their walking tour. And Sandy, could you tell us at that time, was the walking tour just passing by the hall, or were you guys looking at different things in the downtown area?
We were actually looking at things in Little Italy. We had kind of done some research for the different buildings and stuff in the area.
And at that time, folks, there was no, and I'm sorry, Eleanor, I know you need to translate. There was no way to get into the buildings. So the walking tour would just look at the buildings from the outside as they walked by.
Ok. Allora, dicevano, Nick ha chiesto a Sherry, che è l'altra persona che interverrà stasera, che ha coordinato questo tour, come è nata questa idea. E Sherry ha detto che 2 anni fa ha conosciuto Sandy, che stava organizzando questo tour e che cominciava proprio dal palazzo della sede di Santa Lucia, che è il Santa Lucia Hall, che è un importantissimo palazzo a Little Italy, e siccome non si poteva entrare all'interno servivano dei permessi, e così abbiamo iniziato a cooperare. Ok.
Ok.
Do you guys see the walking tour brochure?
Queste sono delle foto della brochure che è stata creata, tutte le tappe.
I think I need to redo that. Hang on just a second. So how about now? Can you see the walking tour?
We can see all the pictures together, but not, I don't know if you want to show us the
Okay, so
specific.
I need to stop share, and then I need to reshare the actual tour map. Okay, now can you see walking tour, Mr. Toad Brewery, etc.? I'll have this up in the background while you guys talk. So to summarize then, there was a tour a few years back, which included Little Bohemia and Little Italy. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Quindi questo è il
Tell
tour
us
che
about
include
that
Little
tour.
Italy e Piccola Bohemian. Sono 2 quartieri.
Sì.
Bella Vita, wow, carina. What's a Bella Vita? A restaurant?
No, that is an old grocery store. It was the Piccolo's grocery store.
There's a
okay.
restaurant called Bella Vita in Elkhorn.
Piccolo or Budas?
Piccolo's.
Piccolo? La Dolce Vita è un negozio di alimentari.
There's a
So
Bella
these
Vita
are all the
restaurant in
sites
Elkhorn.
these are all the sites that that Sherry put on her brochure. And beautiful job, Sherry, of putting this brochure
Sì.
together. I wanna compliment you on that.
Thank you. I thought it would be helpful to the walking tour for this year. You know, just to highlight each of those sites that I decided to contact different people from Sons of Italy and Santa Lucia, and see if there was any way we could have people speak and open those facilities that Sandra wasn't able to see the first time around on the tour. And to my surprise, people were more than willing to share what they knew about each of those places. Mary Safio did an amazing job in the old market, and she even invited us to more. But for the time that we had on this, for this experience, we just limited it to the Mr. Toad's, where we know that most of the boarding took place for the gentleman who came from Italy. But I was able to get people in each place, and more than one person volunteered. So we had people from Santa Lucia Hall, we had people from Cabrini Church to talk about those locations and the history.
Ok, go in Italia. Thank you. Allora, praticamente dicevo che questo tour, intanto Nick ha fatto i complimenti a Sherry per come è stata fatta bene questa brochure, è molto bella. Sherry ha detto, pensavo che fosse utile perché scrivendo tutto ci rimane memorizzato per i prossimi. E poi è stato un tour che non ha coinvolto soltanto una guida che guidava tutti e si fermavano nei vari posti, ma in ogni posto c'era ad aspettarli una persona diversa. Per esempio Marianne Sofaio è stata quella che li ha attesi all'antico mercato, li ha condotti all'interno, hanno tutti condiviso delle storie di memorie che li legano a quel posto, quindi è stata una visita corale dove lì dove arrivavano trovavano qualcuno ad aspettarli, e devo dire che in questo modo è molto più interattivo, molto più interessante. I have to say that this way is more interactive, more interesting. Obviously it involves more people because it means more work, but for example in Carlentini we could do the same with the several areas that we have. We did last year with Carmelita and other people at the museum. There was Alfio, he was waiting for us over there, but it can work for other places, for the cemetery, for the park. So great job. Excellent. I have never thought about it.
So what I did was I offered to Sandra, I said, I know last time you were able to see the exteriors, what would it be? Would you entertain the idea of seeing the interiors and having somebody show you around? She was more than happy to entertain that idea. Sandra, is that how you recall it?
Absolutely, yes.
So that's when I started making phone calls. You can see much thanks to the following volunteers.
Sherry praticamente ha messo su tutta questa lista di persone che c'è lì sulla sinistra, ha iniziato a chiamarli uno per organizzare questo tour, e ognuno di loro era responsabile di una tappa, e gli ho fatto i complimenti perché ha fatto un lavoro eccellente. It's beautiful.
Sandy, is Trailblazers a name associated with your group?
Right, we are the Nebraska Trailblazers. Our full name is Nebraska Wanderfreunde Trailblazers, but we go by basically Nebraska Trailblazers.
Sandra, how often do you go on tours or on walks?
On walks, pretty much twice a month.
Oh, ok. 2 volte al mese loro si riuniscono per camminare con il suo gruppo. interessante.
Okay, so Sherry sent me some images, and Sandra, aka Sandy, sent me some images, and I've sort of spliced them together into a slideshow. And I wasn't sure if this came at the end or the beginning, Sherry, but there's a story that goes with this.
So that was at the beginning. I met the walking group, and by that time, by the time we were beginning the tour, we were up to 56 people. And I think originally we were projected at like 30 or so, but when people found out that it was going to be a walking tour, and I think Sandra did a great job advertising that, we grew to 56 total. So I knew that it would be something important to share with people, food. So I asked Ola at the Sons of Italy if she would be willing to have like a cannoli or something like that. Well, she offered meatballs. She said that day Sons of Italy would be making meatballs and there would be some left over. So we were lucky enough to sample meatballs from Sons of Italy. She also made cannolis, and we brought the cannolis down to Santa Lucia Hall so they could be handed out at that point. So each stop that they made, the walking group, they were able to sample different foods. Well, one of the things that's always been near and dear to my heart, and Donna could probably attest to this as well, my grandmother made hundreds of these
Jordan almonds?
Yep, the Jordan almonds for my wedding. And then I did the same for my son's wedding as well. And
that's very Italian. There is a, let me translate in Italian and then I come back. Allora, praticamente sono stati bravissimi con Sandy, perché Sandy la prima volta che ha fatto il tour toccava solo gli esterni dei palazzi. Allora Sherry ha detto, ma perché non facciamo un tour dove si può entrare all'interno dei posti, così vedono anche gli interni. E così è nato tutto questo tour, ma non soltanto si entrava all'interno dei palazzi e dei luoghi che hanno visitato, ma veniva offerto del cibo. Ad esempio, quando si sono fermati a Santa Lucia Hall, hanno offerto le polpette e i cannoli, e poi un altro cibo che è stato offerto sono i confetti, che sono molto tradizionali per noi, ma lì gli americani non li usano più. E quindi Sherry ha sottolineato il fatto che quando lei si è sposata, sua mamma ne ha preparate a centinaia per tutti gli ospiti. E adesso io le sto per dire che ad ogni tappa della vita ci sono colori diversi. So for every step of our life, we have different colors. When we have a baby, if it's a girl, they will be pink. If it's a boy, they will be light blue. These ones are all colored. Usually we use them for the 18th years old, for our birthday when we become adults. And then if we got engaged, the Jordan almond will be green.
Let Sherry finish her story.
When we finish our university for our graduation, they will be red. The white ones are for the wedding. And the 25 years anniversary, they will be silver. 50 years anniversary, they will be gold color. So they change along the way.
Those Easter eggs?
No, inside you can find the little chocolate, you can find the almond. Now the new fashion in Sicily, if you will have the chance to participate to a Sicilian wedding, there is a table with a lot of them. They look like the same, but then when you eat them, they taste differently. Coconut, coffee, marshmallow. There are so many interesting, strange tastes nowadays. So that's the new fashion. They look like all white, but they taste differently. Ora la nuova passione è quella di farli anche di gusti diversi. In Sicilia per i matrimoni, ho detto, se mai vi capiterà di partecipare a un matrimonio siciliano, li vedete tutti bianchi, però magari trovate quello al caffè, quello con vari gusti, anche strani.
so the basket that I had there was from my mom's wedding, and I brought that down to the Jean Leahy Mall. I introduced myself and I kind of gave everybody a little taste of what that was about, and told them that these are Italian traditions and that they would be going on this walking tour that would include some of the most important historical locations of Sicilians primarily in the Little Italy area, but it would start at the old market. And then that's where Mary Ann Sofio met them first. That was their first stop. So the picture that you're looking at is Mary Ann talking about the first location of their tour. And Mary Ann, go ahead and jump in after Eleonora translates.
I want just to say I was double checking because when we talk, I always take notes of how many people who is here. I write down the names of the new people that are around, and I don't see Rosita anymore. So she left. At this point, everybody speaks English here. So I will not translate unless some from Carlentini, they will connect who doesn't speak English. I see Silvana, but she speaks English. Okay, go ahead.
All right, I met the group, and the first thing I spoke of was just the early Omaha, how it was an outfitting town and how the riverboats came up the river with materials for growing Omaha. And then what was like 10th Street was the warehouse district for growing Omaha. So I explained that. I explained how those warehouse buildings are still visible today in the old market. The signage on the side of the buildings tells you how the building was used. And then I connected it to the Italian history, because in about the 1920s, as the Italians were coming into Omaha, one of their first stays was at the Hotel Howard, which is the site of Mr. Toad. And I told him about that hotel. I mentioned the Salerno brothers and the bank that they created and how they helped the early Italian immigrants learn their way around Omaha, get jobs, you know, just become acclimated. And from that hotel, then they would move either into an apartment or with other family members, and then, you know, be more settled. I wanted to go down to 11th and Howard because that's where the fruit markets were located. And I have pictures of the early fruit markets in Omaha. And that was the Marino and Vitale fruit markets. There we are, or Monaco and Vitale fruit markets. Again, another possibility, you know, it's a little bit of a walk because the Skinner Macaroni is on 14th Street, 14th and Jones. And we're only around 10th and 11th and Howard. So that would be a little bit of a walk. If we'd stopped in between with something, you know, that would be a possibility. But that's how I started the tour, by giving them Omaha past history, the Italian immigrants coming in the 20s and 30s, and then we moved on. We started our walk up 10th Street.
And just to add to that, Mary Ann, I really envisioned, Sandra, if we did this again, we could double the time on it. It was already pretty lengthy, but we could double the time by expanding that throughout the downtown area, where Mary Ann could specify more history with the Skinner Macaroni building and some other buildings, and then go through Little Bohemia. But one of the other places that was pointed out to me just right after the flyer was made, Pat Vendetti is restoring a shoe shop, and it's originally there were over 300 of them in Omaha, and there's now just one left, and it's Donna and my cousin Sam DeMaro who has that shoe store, and that's on 50th and Grover. But we could also incorporate the shoe store as well, and then the Bank of Little
Sicily.
Yes, is on 8th and Pierce, across from Bella Vita and next to the Santa Lucia Hall. But it's all it is right now is it's a condo or an apartment complex now. It's not anything that's restored.
Is there a possibility when I will be there in Omaha to have a kind of rehearsal that I can do myself alone? So when people from Italy they will come for Santa Lucia this year and next year, I would like to offer my service as tour guide in Italian for them, because I needed to experience it on my skin before to see what we need to ameliorate and what we have to keep because it works, what we needed to change according to my experience. Because Americans, you work in a different way than Italians. So something, the same product that might work for you, it won't work for Italians for several reasons. We have a different mindset, but I'm sure that it's a tour that can give the possibility to Omaha to start a cultural tourism that is different from the zoo and all the other activities and attractions that you have so far.
And Eleonora, this year we'll have you and Juicy and Nuccio and Anna Maliti coming. So they
but the next year we will be more because Mayor will be back again, maybe with his wife and other people that getting ready to come for the 100th year. So I think it should be something very well organized and done and available at one point for everybody visiting Omaha.
You pick a day.
I know Mary Ann said something about the distance of the Skinner Macaroni Building being a little far from the Howard Hotel or something like that, but I just want to put in my vote that the Skinner Macaroni Building is a huge part of the Italian history of Omaha. I mean, and the market as a whole, I think the influence of the Italian families in the market is huge. If you look at this paragraph right here, the high percentage of Italian dealers who have stands and stalls there in the city market, with the part played by Italian market gardeners who brought in their products. And he cites the statistic here of 120 dealers, 40% are Italians.
Yeah.
So I mean, that old market is just key to the history of the Italian community.
That's a good point, Nick. The other thing too, Marianne, if we wanted to do, Nick, Marianne and I were talking before everybody else got on, and there's the Pioneer area by First National Bank. That would actually be a great starting point, that or the Jean Leahy Mall, of course.
And over there, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Eleonora, you've never seen this part of the downtown area,
and I
but
was
it's
wondering, that's
stunning.
the piece, but some of you told me that before all the food places, American street food were born in the 50s, before McDonald's and everything, all the restaurants in Omaha, all of them, they were managed by Italians and Sicilians. So I think it's one of the strongest Italian community in United States. And still a lot of people are there as chef. I mean, we know Sylvia, who moved from Milan, for example, and maybe there are others that are not the first generation immigrants, a lot of chefs. This is a park that Marianne showed to me. I'll let you talk about that.
Well, this speaks to like the 1800s, when the pioneers were going from east to west, many of them for homes in the west or to find gold or silver traveling west. So it's really related to the old west, and relates to Omaha, because when I mentioned we were an outfitting town, these people would cross the river and have to buy all their supplies before they could continue west on the wagons with the horses and with all of their materials. So it's really seeped in Omaha history, not necessarily Italian history, but it does speak to our Omaha history.
These are life-size images, folks. I feel terrible for not having been up to these closer in years.
They are bigger than life size.
They are
huge. 1.8 0.25. They're just a little bit bigger, but you can see, for example, the threads in the canvas of the wagon covers. You can see the expressions on the faces. You can see the muscle tones of the animals. It's beautifully done. And
Marianne, can you remind us how much that part cost?
Il fratello, no, poi chiuso il secondo con le mende.
Mute her. I think there is someone talking in the background. So,
okay, the two parks that are related to this pioneer history, $33 million. And it was a gift from the First National Bank in honor of their 150th anniversary in Omaha.
wow.
Yeah, I think any Italians coming from out of country would like to see that, Eleonora, and then have you translate that for them, because that's the beginnings of Omaha.
Scappando tutti, però questo proprio non sa chi ha cercato per fare.
So I've advanced the slideshow. I don't know if you guys are still with me.
Yep.
Okay.
We're good.
So this was a video that Sherry took of people coming into the Sons of Italy Hall.
So the first stop along the route was the Sons of Italy Hall, and that was their first rest. Coming up 10th Street was a little taxing for everybody. It's quite a steep hill when you think about it, from the old market up to Sons of Italy. It's not too far. I'd say a quarter of a mile, but in any kind of heat, it's going to be a little taxing on a group. So we came to a resting point here, and Dan Machuela, the president of Sons of Italy, did an amazing job just presenting the mission of Sons, some of the activities and events that go on with the Sons of Italy throughout the year. And of course, talked about the Thursday spaghetti dinners, and then we walked around and gave everybody a sample of the meatballs. He talked about the mural back there. That's the mural on the wall that is of Carlentini. It's overlooking the lake and the Etna.
So I think somebody said something about that having an association with one of the Cornelia restaurants.
Yeah.
Venison.
Right. Yeah, wasn't that one? Was it venison?
Venison,
Yeah.
I think so.
And then it
Just
also
looking at
survived the
walls.
fire. It survived the fire of Sons of Italy a few years back and then it has been restored a little bit as well. And then the framer in it, my uncle.
Are you talking about that big paint at the bottom?
Yeah, that's a canvas painting.
Allora Silvana, ci senti? Ci stai seguendo? Ti traduco. Maybe she's in a party. I don't know. Ci senti? Ti traduco. Ok. Dicevano, stanno raccontando il tour di Little Italy. Ma do you see a red line in the middle of the screen, or is just?
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from.
I don't know neither. Dun, 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 dun.
That's on your screen, Nick.
Lucy, bella.
Hey.
Ciao, Gioia.
So, hi, everyone. And I have some questions about the tour. I didn't want to interrupt, and then
Go ahead, please.
Because maybe it has already been said, but I connected a bit later.
We were just saying that 2 years ago, Sherry and Sandy, they had this idea, and the last time that they did the tour, we saw the brochure with all the itinerary. They stopped along the way. They met people waiting for the group coming, and that's the moment when they were at the Sons and Daughters of Italy Hall, and they offered cannoli and meatballs.
No, but I followed them. I mean, it was this year around maybe May. It was May or April, right?
Yes.
But I didn't know how everything. I mean, how the project started. But now it's clear. And the question is, how long does the tour take? Is it one day, half day?
This one was about Sandra, did it end up being 2 hours? It was
Yes.
2 hours.
Something
we
like
all-
2 hours.
We
So the-
spent, the approximation was to spend 3 to 5 minutes in each location talking, but it ended up being 5 to 7, maybe 10 minutes at each location with the guest speakers talking. So, and then eating. So everybody who ate and had samples of food and water and whatnot and
Yes.
rest, it really added up to be a 2-hour tour. So if we added or included Little Bohemia or downtown, or even the shoe shop now on 6th and Pierce, that's going to expand it even further. We could eliminate the food. That would be something I think that would go.
I think that we should cut the tour, transforming it in 2 different itineraries of 1 hour and a half. So we can add some more time each time we stop. The food must be included, and eventually we cut distances. So Juicy and I, we will be more than happy when we will be there to experience it and give our. But I think that we should just divide it and have 2 different tours in 2 different moments of the day, or simultaneously 2 different groups involving 2 different areas.
I would say we
Say
would
that
not,
was-
we wouldn't change anything, Sandra, I think from what we did. I think everything was put together for this. I think I did a pretty good job for never having done this before. But if we were going to add anything, it would just enhance what is already kind of the core of what needed to be talked about. So anything more would just be extra add-ons. I don't think it could be split and still have the same effect.
Okay.
I just want to say that Lucia St. Cyr is the cousin of my cousin.
She's a sweetheart and she did an amazing job at the church, by the way. I'm sorry,
She
did
is
you
a-
say
She
something?
is a Farragut. Her maiden name is Farragut, and her cousins are my cousins, because there was a Farragut who married a Cimino. And they
Oh,
lived on Pierce Street.
Have connections in Pierce Street.
So Sherry,
Okay,
my
so
comment was just listening objectively from the outside about these tours.
right.
You're right about, I really like the tour that you have set up now, and it's a good challenge for a walk up that hill.
It is.
So adding more to that, you need to think about it. What I was thinking as I observed this is I love those statues of the pioneers. Those are very, very neat, but they are the opposite direction and not a block or 2.
Yeah, right.
That's a pretty,
The only
That's
thing.
a
I'm
driving
thinking
tour
about
where
is
you drive and
for-
get out.
Yeah, for the people
Okay.
from out of town, I would say if it were ever going to be broken up into parts, I would say a downtown tour would be on its own. But from the Howard Street or Mr. Toad's moving up and keeping that brochure the way it is, I think it works. It really does. I mean, once you get to the top of the hill, you feel like you accomplished something. You walk by the Durham, you see the railroad station, you see the railroad down below. It's purposeful. Anything
Okay,
like you said.
In respect to our guest Sandy, I'd like to get her perspective on her visit to the church. Anything that she would like to tell us about?
It was beautiful, but I'm going to tell you, I'm going to intersect something about about the Sons of Italy. We have some walkers who could not walk up the hill, and we had them park and meet us at Sons of Italy,
True.
which that really well for those who could not walk up the hill. But the church was absolutely gorgeous, and they did a great job. And for me personally, it was really fun to look, and I thought, boy, I must have been in this church before because those windows look so familiar. Well, I worked at the old St. Joe's Hospital for many, many years, spent much time in the chapel, and had no clue that they had moved the windows from the chapel at St. Joe's Hospital to St. Cabrini's. So for personally, that was really a fascinating piece of information for me.
So are these the windows here on the left?
Those are the windows. Yep.
Okay. And they came from St. Joseph's Hospital.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I think is kind of cool. Oh, please introduce this person. I didn't recognize
That
her.
is Roseanne Moore. She is the aunt of Jan Mandolfo, Carrie, and so she's a Roseanne Mandolfo Moore.
Okay.
And she works, I think she works, volunteers at the church, and that's why she was able to help out.
It's a beautiful picture of the altar here.
Sandra, I have to say, I don't recall, was there anything talked about in regard to the altar and the statues and where some of those have come from? Or just the Santa Lucia statue?
The Santa Lucia statue.
And I do know that the ladies did talk about the St. Alfio statue. That's what you're looking at right there, St. Alfio, that came from Holy Family Church in North Omaha.
Yeah, I think we need to do more to highlight St. Alfio in the future.
Yeah, he's kind of stuck in the corner there.
Valentinesi will be happy. Silvana, se stai seguendo, queste sono immagini che provengono dalla chiesa di St. Francis Cabrini a Little Italy, a Omaha. Questa è la statua di Santa Lucia.
So, Sandy, do you remember hearing about Santa Lucia in her little niche here?
Yes, I do. And I won't be able to tell you what they told me, but they told us about it. They told her how they bring her out of the church for the festival. And yeah, it was very informative, but I will tell you, I have a poor memory, so I wouldn't be able to tell you word for word.
So I'm just curious, Sherry or whoever, about this gentleman here with the beard.
That's St.
Anybody
Patrick.
know?
Yes.
Yeah, that's St. Patrick's. He came over from St. Patrick's Church when that church was, it's no longer here. It's been demolished. So he was housed there. So Cabrini also absorbed a lot of those parishioners as well. So that's where he came from.
And St. Pat's was a parish in between 13th and Martha and 24th and Martha. So
it was 14th and Castellar is where St. Pat's was.
It was almost closer to St. Anne's, I'd say, wouldn't you, Joanne?
Well, St. Anne's is over on 20th and Populton. So,
no.
I mean, and that's right across from where Rotella's Bakery started. So I don't know if that's something you need to put on your tour, Sherry.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
St. Pat's was up the hill on Martha Street from 13th.
Yeah,
so it was on Castellar.
It was over by Buddha's Grocery.
That was down on 13th, right by the Sopa Hall, 13th and Martha. So St. Pat's was a little bit farther south.
It was just, well, a block south and a block west.
Yep.
Who is this another saint in here on the right-hand side?
That looks like the Blessed Virgin. I'm not sure who that is. Do you know, Joanne?
No, I can't see it. There's a glare on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and then you guys hit the road again, and this was key here. I recognized this woman here with the green cape.
Yes, I thought it was really important to have the Queen there, and she was more than willing to come, of course, with her mom prompting her to come. But the two of them have done an amazing job this year. So many volunteer hours. I can't even begin to tell you how much they've contributed, and they've just raised the bar for the next Queen. So Anne is Abby's mom. Abby's the Queen this year, and Anne was there. She's a
so beautiful. Plus, it's a possibility to take a picture with the Queen of the Year.
That would be a good idea. Yeah, to have people take a picture. I don't know if anybody did.
We need to have her hang with us at the genealogy room.
There might be some of her on Facebook, sure. I think her mom might have posted some on Facebook.
Yeah, that's true.
So I was trying to read the fun facts, but it was a little. Italy is a long peninsula in the shape of a boot. population 62 million, currency euro, major exports. Can't quite make that out. Leather
Sorry,
and
and that's my
clothes.
handwriting too. I'm sorry.
Oh, so did you make this, Sherry?
I did. I made that.
Oh, that's really cool.
Amazing.
Okay, so this is Jen Mandolfo Carey. I recognize her in front of the Santa Lucia Hall with Abby DiStefano.
Right.
And is Jen a former queen?
She is, yes. So that was nice too to have her there as well. Joe Chalin was also there. I don't think I sent you a picture of him, and I apologize for that, Nick, but Joe was there as well, and he has a part. He has some family history associated with the saint as well. His family helped get the saint here.
Abby's mom is here. This is Annie DiStefano, and she was a former queen.
Correct.
You had 3 former queens lined up there.
See.
And the interior of the Santa Lucia Hall itself is a museum. I mean, there's so much history. It's so rich right there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I just love that.
We Mary Kay went inside the church of Santa Lucia in Syracuse, and they have less images than you.
I recognize that lady with
Oh,
the
yeah.
camera.
I don't know who took that one.
What happened to your hair?
My record showed that there was no pictures of me in anywhere. So I'm not sure where that came.
So many images. I love how they have the picture shelves on the bricks.
That top
And
right-hand
that's
corner is a
Jeremy.
Caravaggio depiction of Santa Lucia, and that's Jeremy Caniglia's artwork right there.
Yeah.
Top
Oh, wow.
right-hand corner.
Beautiful.
Okay, here we are at Bella Vita.
So do you think it will be possible to set up a tour like this while we're here? We're there.
Hey, we have to choose a day, and we can already tell them now because it's already late if we want to do it.
I mean,
It's going to
I
get
mean,
to
I would be
people that want-
interested because it would be helpful for my research. And
Yeah.
about astronomy and whatever, I found some books and on Amazon. But I mean, I just want to see things with my own eyes and like buildings, and it could be interesting. I mean, for me, it's a matter of, collecting information.
Lucy, remind us which day are you coming from to?
Well, actually, still haven't bought tickets, domestic tickets. I just know that I will be flying back on the 9th of August. I will be in New York. I will land in New York on the 27th of July, unless my boss spoils my plans very last minute. But
so from the 27th to the 9th, we don't consider the first days, we don't consider the last days. We have to ask them which day will work better for them.
I'm going to right now, it's going to be difficult during the festival.
Maybe just
I know there is a festival in the middle, the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, but maybe it could be August 1st, that is a Thursday. We're not that close to the festival, but it's not, or the 31st of July, maybe the Monday.
I'm out of town.
Marianne, are you real busy? Maybe you could help them out with that.
Not a problem, not a problem. Just give me some dates. I'll look up my calendar and see what's up.
Okay, Juicy, you will decide.
I will probably, but still, I don't know. I will probably, I don't know still. I have to check.
Okay.
But maybe I will overnight some nights in New York. So I still have to check something because I need to meet people in New York, a professor, and then I'm still waiting to check if I can meet with these guys from the university in New York. If it is not possible, then I will fly direct or the day after to Omaha. Otherwise, so I mean, I will land on the 27th in New York, but not in Omaha.
So, folks, I need to bring this to a close pretty quickly here because I have to leave at 3 o'clock. but you guys can continue to discuss. I just won't be able to do the slideshow. So I want to get through the slideshow before 3 o'clock if we could.
Yeah,
But I
let's
did
do
have
that.
a quick question here about Rosalind Fisk. So this is Mike Fisk and this is Rosalind. Rosalind has Italian heritage. Is that right, Sherry?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
He's a
Rosalind.
Procopio.
Rosalind Fisk.
People were
Yes,
talking, I missed that. What was that?
Her name was
What is her
Procopio.
heritage?
Rosalind's maiden name is Procopio.
Oh,
She
okay.
is, her mother was my first cousin on the Corbino side of the family.
Oh,
Thanks,
Yeah.
Donna.
Yeah, you're welcome.
okay. So let's get through these slides. Oh, we're here at the Stili di Famiglia. And for those of you who don't know the translation, that means family style. And of course, the spaghetti, this sculpture has been around for quite a while, hasn't it?
It has.
Yeah.
The association is the one that paid for that and had that built. So there's a neighborhood association with those little white buildings, so the Little Italy neighborhood. And Mike Fisk brought the group down there, and that's how they were able to get the photograph there. So he talked about that area. There's also a bocce ball court right behind the people. You can't really see it, but the association uses that court.
Silvana says everybody, hi to everybody. In this moment, she's with Anthony Costantino visiting Carlentini for the first time, and she's having dinner with all the relatives of Anthony.
Oh,
what a team! What a team! She's taking care of them.
Then at the last stop was the Orsi Bakery, where of course Jim Hall, the ever generous Jim Hall, had pizza for all the travelers, and they each had like 2 pieces of pizza. It was very generous of him. And then there was more detail discussed by the gentleman with the plaid shirt. His name is Billy. He helped work on the mural with Lita. And then of course there's Carmelita there as well.
This mural is beautiful, simply amazing.
Now, the last time I was down at Orsi's, it looks like they planted some vegetables in that grassy area.
That is the neighbors, that belongs to DeMarco. That property belongs to DeMarco's, and I'm not sure, does anybody know the story on that? Because there is a garden down there. It's like a neighborhood garden right now.
It just started too this year.
Yeah, they just started planting things. So I noticed that the other day when I was down there.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to find out if they're going to excavate a little bit, maybe make some pathways through there, or do something a little bit more. It'd be nice because it's easier to take pictures. It's easier to navigate that area when there's more of a clearing on that side.
Getting back,
Can I share a story of that mural, Nick? So
Sure.
the mural they were painting, and they were offering, special times for the public to come down and draw and then come down and paint and everything. And the time that it was open to the public, I had been in contact with people that had COVID. So I was quarantining and I wasn't able to go down and do that. Well, after I got over that, I contacted one of the artists, and I wanted to really take my granddaughters down there. She's like, just come down, just come down. So we went down on a random night during the week, and it was just us and the artist and my granddaughters, and they let them paint on the wall. So you see those pumpkins that are there, and you see some of the vegetables by the cart. So they were able to draw and then paint their things, and they think that is the neatest thing in the world, because when they drive by, they're like, you know what, say or go, Grandma, I'm going to be able to tell my grandkids that I painted on that wall, because it's going to be there forever. So
That is
Is
right.
there
It's
is
really
this
cool.
Sicilia? Is Sicilia?
Yes.
I know. She's the sweetest.
So yeah.
well, getting back to this food issue, everyone was so generous donating the food that people sampled. But I will say that really took the walkers by surprise, because, they eat pizza so many different places, but, to have true authentic recipes they were just surprised and very shocked. And I think it really, made a great impression on them. So we need to figure out a way to give these people back for their generosity. But I think no other tour has food involved. So many of our ethnic restaurants are closing. So to be able to sample these foods, I think really made the tour unique.
Yeah, that is true.
I need to
Sandra,
go, but I just wanted to also put in my 2 cents. I know we don't want to expand it too much, but the Monaco Vitale Fruit and Veg Corner, I think that really should be part of it. Found this picture, and it said that it was about 25 years old. It closed after Mr. Vitale passed. There was also this article by Leo Adambiga that talked about that site as well, and went into a great deal of detail about Joe Vitale and how he was a fixture in the old market long after most of the fruit dealers had left. And so then I found another article about the Monaco side of it, which is this Lincoln family that has Valentino's restaurant, and the wife of Tony Messineo, who's owner of Valentino's, is Carmen Monaco, and her father co-owned that. So it'd be good to get maybe some of that story written up a little bit more. But
My father knew the
the
original
old
owner.
market needs to be central to this story.
I agree. Yeah, and that's just across the street from Mr. Toad, so that wouldn't be a problem at all. I have to get going too, folks, so I'm going to take off as well. But thank you so much, everybody. It was nice to see everybody, and thanks for listening. And we'll work on some more dates and things like that, Eleonora.
You're welcome to talk. I just have to go, so I'm just going to leave this up.
Okay, it's okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Well, I'm gonna let you all go too. So Eleonora, I think you're in charge right now, you and Juicy.
Well,
My calendar, just to look at my calendar.
Ciao, Sherry.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
I think we will share with everybody ideas and talking about the mural will be such amazing to have something like that in Carlentini as well. I truly believe in art, and that's the only way that we can create something interesting to attract people in Carlentini. And obviously the food, the slow rhythm, the strategic position. A lot of you have visited Sicily and Carlentini in particular. Plus, I think that Juicy, she's thinking about use of those characters for a next romance maybe in the future, and maybe those romances they will become a TV series. So we are all working together simultaneously. Juicy, what are you working on?
Well, actually, I started last year to collect information, and it was a way somehow to trace back the history of our family somehow, which is what most of you are doing. In addition to this, there's the writing thing. So, well, I was thinking about writing something. I don't know, still don't have a very precise idea. But the more I collect, and I need to study a lot, and so that I can propose something to my agent.
So for sure, when we will be there, we will have with Marianne, seeing that she's super kind and available for us all the time. She already gave me, I think, 2 or 3 tours. We will do again the same, and I think that we must include the food, because the food is something strong in our tradition. I have a lot of books of your families, the Turcos, the Vacantes. I have a lot of recipes, all the San Francisco Brinis, recipes. And there are still Mike Di Giacomo, Dante. There are so many Italian restaurants. So can be an attraction of the best excellences of Italy in United States. We should work on it. I truly believe that Omaha can have more tourism and visitors coming, and we need to promote it. Mary Kay just came from Sicily less than 2 weeks. Do you still have jet lag?
No, no jet lag, but we do miss it. We all wish we were back there.
What's the best memory that you kept with you from this trip that you can share with us?
It was meeting with all of our cousins. You know, that was so nice for my kids to see our relatives over there.
Mm-hmm. The memory that keeps going.
Yes. Yes.
See.
Yeah.
I was with you almost all the time, and I found very fascinating the moment when we were at the cemetery and Rosetta Anastasi was talking to you as time has never passed, and I was like, those people, they live 5,000 miles away from each other, and it seems that they took a coffee yesterday.
Yeah. Yes.
We are building strong ties, and every morning I always explain to my groups what we are doing and how special is our relationship. So I think that we will make the difference little by little, step by step.
Mm-hmm.
We have other people coming, other people who just arrived home. Sue, for example, was another beautiful experience. She gave me an amazing book that I will keep as a priceless. And what about you? What's the best memory that you kept from this last tour? You're muted. Sue, you're muted. Sue, you're muted.
Okay, better? Okay, I'll start again. Well, the best experience was meeting my relatives again, because I had not seen most of them since 2006, going to eat with them, going to the cemetery with Eleonora, which I thought was very special, sweeping away all the ashes from.
I taught her how to clean the graves.
Which was unbelievable. But I think the best moment was meeting again the woman who lived across the street from my relatives, and the lady coming out and just yelling to her name, and she comes running out of the balcony, and I go, "Hi, remember me?" Oh, yeah. So we are communicating all the time now. She's telling me about my relatives and that, and I mean, that's what I envisioned about going to Carlentini, is to reestablish the connections with my relatives. But I keep encouraging them all to come to visit us, and no one seems to be interested. But if they won't come, I guess we'll just have to go there. But I think even my husband had a great time in that. He really
was the first time for him.
It was his first time. This was my third time there and that, but we did Italy, and then we did all in Sicily, but Carlentini was probably my favorite, and Eleonora made it very special. Going out to lunch with the 13 people. I mean, I thought we would have like 3 people.
And they kept asking why he didn't come before. He didn't like Sicily, maybe because for your husband was the first time. So they were like, did he avoid it on purpose to come to Sicily? I was like, no, it was just busy. They kept asking.
Because I had a job, I had to work, so.
They found it weird that he waited so many years.
Everyone was
Susan,
so
you were in
wonderful.
Termini, right? You were also in Termini Marese, right?
Right, that's where my other relatives are from, the Grazianos. and the
I'm
Pashas.
going on next Saturday. I will be there.
And I also had a fabulous guide from there. I mean, my suggestion is just to always get a guide because they do not speak English at all. The hotel that we stayed at there, we walked in there, they didn't speak a word of English, and she was fabulous. She picked us up from the train station. She went inside, she talked with them. She had done the research for what I asked her, took me to closed churches, took me to Kokomo Castle, took us, she goes, oh, you have to have this food and this food. It was worth every penny. I would strongly encourage you that that's the way to go. Otherwise, you're just struggling the whole time. So it was just a fabulous trip, but I waited a long time to go back on that. But
I think that local, they make the huge difference. When I'm in Omaha, without you, won't be the same because everybody has his own way to describe the city through your eyes. So when you have the chance to go around and stay with locals, that's priceless. They open their own homes. I've been in a lot of your houses. And I met all of you with your family. And then when I see you over here, it's like an invisible tie that keeps going because you are the memories. And that's different. It's different, totally different. And I think that the biggest power is the literature. I just finished 2 days ago to read the last book that Josie wrote. And I felt in love with her style. I knew that she was an amazing woman, but now I can say she's an amazing writer. And I can't wait that you will translate it in English because Josie can do it.
No, but I can do it myself.
See, of course you can do it. You have to do it yourself because you have a huge audience on the
We all
other side.
want to read the book. We can't read it otherwise.
That's true. That's true. We need to talk with my agent. It's a very complicated story because of international rights, and they have to. I mean, they have to sell the international rights for translation, and for Italian writers, it is so hard to enter the American market. So hard. Because
okay, we can start under the table as always. I mean, we had more than 10,000 people who moved from Carlentini to Omaha for a book. Come on.
It's a good base. It's a good base.
Under the table, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I was talking. In the meanwhile, Sherry, she's writing to me in the chat, and she's telling me that the earliest to have a tour would be August the 7th. So if Juicy, if it will work for you, if Marianne is available, you can double check. And if there are other people who are interested, we can sponsor the tour and maybe have more guests.
Is it better in the afternoon or in the morning?
Start in the morning. It might be cooler. Yeah.
Eleanor,
are you coming in? Eleanor, are you coming in July 20 to August?
Yes. I'm coming from July 20th till August 19th.
Okay.
And then I leave the 19th to go back to New York, and then the 20th I will come back to Sicily. But I haven't done my schedule yet. I'm super late. The only thing that I know is that on August 12th, I will be offering my service as a sommelier in Mike DiGiacomo's restaurant from 2 to 4 p.m. We just discussed yesterday or 2 days ago, so nothing was official, but I know that...
Which one of his restaurants? The new one?
The new one. Mm-hmm. The newest. I will lead an experience between food, wine, and music. It will be my first time.
When is that, Eleonora?
The 12th. You better stay.
The 12th? The Agosto? No.
No.
I thought it was before.
That's they're all busy for the festival. So they
I thought
decided.
you had a sort of a happening or something at the end of July or not? Or maybe,
Well, that was my idea, but then Mike said the 12th.
okay,
So I have to do it
Oh.
again.
okay.
Eleanor, one other time when you're here, it would be good to sit down with you all and discuss with the 100th committee, so we can all discuss that. So if we have to set up a special time or a special meeting for that.
I would love
We
to.
have a meeting tomorrow night, so I'll reach out to them and let them know so that way they can try and put something together on your calendar so that we can.
Okay.
While you're here, we can talk about
my calendar pretty empty.
Okay.
And I think we will have enough time to do meetings and discuss about next steps to do. Maybe nice to have for the next year a way. Maybe you can help me under this point of view. There are a lot of producers in Carlentini making pasta or olive oil or other products, and they're willing to be there somehow. So maybe gadgets that we can create together for next year. When I was with Mary Kay inside the Church of Santa Lucia in Syracuse, I noticed that they have a lot of beautiful pictures of Santa Lucia. There was a video, there was a little exhibition dedicated to her about the festival in Syracuse. There was a new portrait that I saw for the first time with them about the Martyr of Santa Lucia. Is a temporary exhibition, and the burial of Santa Lucia made by Caravaggio. So we can help for next year to add more history, more roots, and in the meanwhile we can create other attractions to be repeated for the next years. And as I said, all the things that I will do when I will be there as a sommelier, as tour guide, any way I can help. I want to be paid for that. And if they will reach money, if they collect money, they will go straight to Sicula Italia Foundation, because they're helping a lot, they're doing a lot, and we have still a lot of things to do. So that's my way to help. And I hope that little by little we will have the chance to do more, I'm sure. Yeah. Okay, so
one more thing, Susan.
Yes.
I did make contact with Nancy at D'Augusta Calendar.
Okay.
She had a busy calendar in May, and now June is fast, moving along fast. But I will meet with her and walk that old Little Italy area. So maybe I can pick up some more information that we can add.
Perfect.
But I wanted to tell you, you know.
Thanks, Mariette. I appreciate you reaching out to her.
Oh yeah,
fabulous.
lovely to talk to.
Yes, she is.
Very excited.
Hard to get off the phone with her, but yes.
Yes.
She's very interesting.
I'll meet her in person and we can talk and talk.
We had a lot of time.
Okay. So Eleonora, maybe she'll have some other information too on stores or businesses that were on the way in that walking tour, you know, that'll help out the tour also.
Yeah. And as I noticed when people, they visit the Carlentini, when people will be there, they might be interested as well into have some gadget shops. Obviously, people, they will have their own moments for shopping, but seeing that is a walking tour to discover the city, we can point a place or give 10 minutes of free time if they want to grab something and buy something fast. I'm sure that there are souvenirs shops or gadget shops, and if there aren't, maybe we should find some and talk to them and say, if there are people, can we design a line of items made for the Italians over here? So maybe we can cooperate with graphic designers. There are a lot of things to do, and we will add all of those experiences inside the website. And I hope that one day we will have an excellent webmaster, someone who can communicate and take care of the communication, because we're doing so much, but people, they don't know, because we're not sharing that much, and that's my responsibility too. And then I think that the most important part will be always underlining the genealogical researches, because we are keep going doing that for free. In this moment, for example, there is Anthony Costantino in Carlentini, and he's looking for documents as well. There is Adam and Francia, those two guys from Oregon with the origins from Omaha. They moved straight to Carlentini, and they're trying to open a business, and I'm trying to help them. They want to buy a property, maybe a countryside, and open a B&B, an agritourism. But they need everything. They need the car, they need to rent a house long term, they need the permissions. So I'm trying to help them. The good news is that at the end of the month, I will, that's a Santa Lucia protecting, I will finally sign the act that the house of my grandmother will be mine. So I'll move to Carlentini soon, and from there it will be easier to keep going with all the activities that we have with the kids at the elementary school. I promised them to give them English lessons in the afternoon. It's going to be for free, and I would like to introduce to them some history, some interesting anecdotes of Omaha. And then earlier, while we were talking with Jen about the mural, I'm wondering, is there a document, a PDF or something that describes all the characters that we have in that mural, their names, who they were, what they did, so we can create, if it doesn't exist, a book or a brochure about the mural, and we should create postcards about that mural as well, and maybe ask to Santa Lucia, Sons and Daughters of Italy, or other sicula to have a little bunch where they can sell those things, and the income will be for the foundation or the used for our communities. If you have ideas, I will be more than happy to listen and talk. I have a huge lack of time because I'm still working. It's high season, but what I can do in the afternoon, I keep going doing things. Now I'm working on the projection of Michael Cavallari last movie, for example. He did 2 weeks ago at the elementary school. Silvana Iannello helped a lot. There were 150 kids. They watched that movie. And we plant little seeds in their brains about new perspectives. And that's very important. Plus they met an actor from Hollywood, so they were so happy for that. So it's a community. All of us, it's important, like the fingers of a hand. Even the shortest makes the difference. That's what I see ourselves.
Eleonora,
So-
I just put in the chat, I put a PDF of the mural, and it tells you 1, 2, 3, 4. So it gives you an explanation of what everything is painted on there. That's all part of the South Omaha mural project.
Okay.
So I'll put that link in there. So that they do have something like that.
I have
already
never seen
created.
it.
Yeah. And then there's the
Okay.
website, because these artists have done murals all over the city of Omaha in different ethnic relations.
Yeah,
So you
it's
have,
richer.
yeah.
I see.
So I don't know
Well,
if
we
that helps you or not. The other thing
see.
is on our own website, the San Lucia website, we've been adding the Italian American organization. So I have a link on there for the Secula Foundation, the genealogy. I have the Carlentini, its heritage. So we've been adding stuff like that. And another portion that we want to add is like giving back. So, you know, if we're giving back to the students in Carlentini, we want to highlight that on our site too. So those are different things that we can talk about, and we can work and help you promote that stuff too.
And you know what is interesting? Since we have started this adventure of the Sister City project, every time there was something that we needed, simultaneously, some short time later, could be a day, could be an hour, could be a week, the solution came from the top. Every time I was like, oh, sure, we should do that. And then we need a website. And the guy who is a webmaster called us. Oh, we should make a t-shirts. And Sandy Trotman, she was like, I made the t-shirts for you. I was like, what's that? That's incredible. And when we inaugurated the park of Omaha in Carlentini, after 2 weeks, when the huge crew came back home, and Chris was there as well. I have to say happy birthday to you. I forgot. You're welcome. They went back home, and I was like, Shay, we need a park in Omaha too, dedicated to us, little Italy, the Italians. And now I heard that someone is thinking about it. And the Sherry, she was like, did you talk with someone about that park idea? I was like, no, I just send the idea to the universe, and then the universe or whatever, whoever is moving.
They're meeting in August with the city. The city has contacted us to be part of that, and the Secula and Sons and the Dome and the whole area. So there is talk about that. So fingers crossed, because it is a really nice area. We've been there, so it needs a little work, but we could do a lot of different things in that spot. We could do Italian markets, we could do bocce playing, we could do all kinds of things in that neighborhood. So
and in Sicily we have sorry, was someone talking?
What part of Omaha is that, Joanne?
So it's Dolman Park. If you're familiar with 6th and Williams, it's the neighborhood, they would call it Mosquito Hill.
Mosquito Hill.
So
I spent my childhood there.
Yes, a lot of us did. So yeah, but it needs a lot of work. But the city is willing to work with. They're starting the inquiry. So hopefully it's something that can eventually happen.
I would like to make a wish, because in Sicily we have interesting artists who are excellent handcraft makers of ceramics, and we have a huge tradition of the ceramic for the gardens. So ceramic thought to decorate beautiful noble villas, to stay outside. Caltagirone obviously is the land of ceramic. And then we have still the last laboratory of Sicilian cart that is alive. A Sicilian cart, brand new, all sculptured and painted, can easily cost between the $5,000 and the $10,000. And then we have to ship it over there. So we can think, and I will collect pictures of things that I see around, like nice tables and chairs decorated with the Sicilian patterns. For example, in this moment, my iPad is on the top of an aluminum box. I show you to be a little bit taller. It's this one, you see? Otherwise, you will see just my belly. And this box, it has been designed
The Dolce Gabbana.
See, but the artists behind, they have started with the tradition, are the two painters of Rosso Cinabro, the Sicilian quartz painters. So they know, because they have studied all the patterns of Sicilian quartz. Those are all pieces of Sicilian quartz. They have extrapolated from the tradition and remodeled in a modern language. So they know the tradition, and this should be the style that I would like to see in that park. It could be tables, could be chairs, could be decorations around made of ceramics or vases, could be a Sicilian quartz. This is for a panettone, for a cake, for example. This is the aluminum box for the cake that I bought for Christmas. But there are a lot of ideas, so we can give a style as well to the park if there is the possibility, and it will be quite cheaper than $33 million. With that price, we will make all the Sicilian artists happy, even with $1 million. A huge vase can be around 200-300 euros. So when we buy directly in Sicily, that means around $400. We will have such cheap prices and excellent quality. Juicy, what do you think about that?
It's true. I mean,
I see on your back the Moorish hats.
But I mean, my house is full of whatever. I have chairs and jar and vases of any dimension, is everything hand painted. And there's one of the best, I must say, is in Carlentini, Flavio Latino. I ordered chairs from, look at this.
Do you remember, we stopped there, Mary Kay and Sue, the guy who painted the facade of his house like a Sicilian quartz.
I don't know if you can see that, but
it's beautiful. Yeah. Do you use it? Do you sit on it?
I have some, actually. I mean, not so, because the living room is a half modern and so contemporary and half Sicilian. And they actually they match pretty well. But I'm always very careful with because
so you don't sit on it. That's more for decoration, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, you could, but it is even to protect the hand painting. They are chemically treated, right? But because these are ancient chairs, not ancient. I mean, chairs that maybe they might have, I don't know, 50 years for sure. So,
yeah. So we can really do a lot about our connections, using our connection.
I noticed when I was going over there, I was trying to find something to bring Savannah, and I had a hard time even finding Little Italy merchandise to bring over. I had to look through all the shops in the old market. And I think people in Omaha would like products from Carlentini as well.
Yeah, we should think about finding, first of all, a publishing house that can help us to give an order and a sense to all the books that we have. So we can have a line of books, we can have gift, we can think about the ceramics and embroidery, even little things. And eventually, as soon as we understand that people, they fall in love with the products, so we can start asking to the people here making them to come over there and give master classes, laboratories, hands-on for food, for handcraft. There are so many things. So for example, around, I've noticed I have this and this. Let me see. Those are the ancient art of put together the branches of the olive tree. So those are super cute. And this is just in Sicily. Because in the past, the people, they used to, ciao Donna, they used to make efforts just to make their life easier. There weren't decorations for them. This is the small version of a huge one that now we use for decoration, but was to keep the fruits, to carry the products. So if the people, they used to stay an entire day to make this hard work, was to have that object that has to be useful. And that's the majority of our, even Sicilian carts, they were way to transport goods. So it was not just to have a nice thing to be seen. They were all functionals. And that's all about the Sicilian art. Sicilian art is not just for the pure sense of the beauty of art itself, but has to be useful as well. So we combine something that is beautiful and we can use as well. That's interesting. Okay. Is there someone who wants to share something or even change topic? We have an empty moment, or better, it's not empty, but Nick is not around, so no genealogical researches.
I can do whatever you want.
Oh yeah, that's true. Dean and Jim, they can help a lot. Is there someone who wants to work?
No, Dean, you said you're going to Sicily in February?
Yes,
Are you going on a tour or are you gonna meet family?
I'm just kind of gonna meet Eleonora, right? And then I got somebody else that Susan knows for Termini. And then I'm gonna try to see Juicy in Rome, right?
Yeah, yeah, you told me that you're going to stop in Rome, right?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna fly there. I'm not sure. Somebody, my brother said, you can't fly out of Catania to the US, but he said sometimes it's good to like maybe fly out of Frankfurt or some smaller place and just kind of take a train from Italy to wherever and do it that way. I don't know yet.
We did, Dean, we flew out of Rome and we went Omaha, Chicago, Chicago, Rome. And then we took an hour flight down to Catania from Rome. Because Catania is the closest airport to Carlentini.
But what about Palermo? Can you fly out of Palermo?
You can.
Well, but in that case, well, in that case, it will be 2 hours drive or by bus. I mean, definitely. I mean, there's Catania or Palermo are equally served, let's say, by the same airlines and same kind of flights. So it's definitely, you should land in Catania because Catania is just, I mean, the airport is, let's say, just outside Carlentini.
But I want to go, I'm thinking about, I haven't decided for sure, but I think about going to Termini or Messe, which is by Palermo. Maybe toward the end. That's what I was thinking. Maybe since I'm kind of already there, I could fly out of Palermo.
Okay, so okay, then this I can understand that because if you think to have a stop in that area, that could be convenient as landing in Catania.
Well, is there a certain airline you recommend?
Well, for domestic flights, you can fly very cheap, something like Ryanair, or even the best company actually, but for service and not for safety reason, is ITA. There is a former Alitalia, ITA. This is a bit more expensive though.
Because somebody quoted me $775 round trip. I thought that was pretty cheap.
Well, domestic flights are not. I mean, and especially in February.
That was from Omaha to Rome, I think.
That's a really good fare.
That's a really good deal.
I thought so.
I think ours cost us about $1,600.
Yeah, I'm paying around 1,300 to come in July. Yeah, including domestic flights in United States that are as expensive as the flight to go from Catania to New York. So it's interesting.
Well, I'm scared because I still have to buy the New York to.
You can run. I was thinking I will take a car and I will
Exactly,
drive.
I will rent a car.
24 hours by driving. Where are you?
No, because I was even thinking about flying from New York to Chicago because I've never been. Stop there something like 2 days and then.
You can go and say hi to.
But I'm still having. I'm still thinking about that.
The most convenient you will take. That
Because
will be
otherwise,
New York, Atlanta, Miami, LA, Omaha. The more convenient.
no, but you know, because it is, so I will be landing at 1 in the afternoon. And flight connection to Omaha are terrible, really terrible. So whether you are forced to overnight to spend 1 night in New York and depart from LaGuardia the day after, or otherwise you have to stop somewhere else, like Charlotte or whatever, and then land at the very end of the day in Omaha, something like 1 in the morning. But at that point, I will be dead completely after flying for 30 hours.
Yeah. Well, let me decide to go through Chicago. I have a daughter there.
I know, but but next time I will fly direct because I bought the tickets from Rome to New York. I mean, months ago. So that about Chicago was not still an idea. But that's what happens when you buy tickets. I mean, so much in advance, and things or plans can change. So I'm terrible at planning.
Do you recommend flying first class when you go international? Does that make a real difference or not?
If you can afford it, yes. It's not my case.
If you can afford it, go for it, Dean, because then you can
Yeah, if you
sleep
can do
horizontally,
it,
otherwise you're upright.
do it. You have free alcohol, free whatever, and king treatment.
Yes.
No, unfortunately, I can't. And last time I flew Eleonora on my flight back from New York to Rome. Even the video was broken, and I had to hold it with my knee. It was terrible.
Well, that's the way we do now. In the future, we're gonna have who knows? That's what happened. Yeah, but the thing is that the flights are so expensive in this moment. But if you plan in advance, like 10 months earlier, you can have a good and reasonable deals. So Juicy, the moral of the story is that you have to learn how to plan.
Very good, but
that goes towards your DNA, because as a Sicilian we never plan until last second. So see that I bought my ticket in January. Now that is almost July, everybody's looking at me in Sicily like, where are you going? America again for 2 months. Are you crazy? Why are you spending the summer over there? And everybody's disappointed because I was like, January when I was buying the tickets, you were all gone, and now it seems that you're all interested to spend the summertime here, but I'm not around. That's it. Bye-bye.
Yes, see. No, but I'm also very much depending on my job. So yesterday I started with a new project right now. And I said, I started telling people, but I have tickets, so I'm planning anyway to go.
Yeah.
Let's see. And I can't stay that long actually. So I mean, my staying would be something like just maybe more than something like a week, a little more than that. So I mean, there's no point for me in having a schedule because I mean, I will have no time to relax or to spend one day just looking around doing nothing.
No, and then as last time, I want to do other things that I already did. And there was a market where Mary Kay bought a book for me that is on Thursdays. That's what I would like to do because I'm crazy for books. And I haven't been in a library, in a real, not in a library, in a bookshop, in a regular bookshop. So I'm curious to see something like that next time.
Yeah, I'll take you there. Or I'll tell you where it is.
I was planning to buy my laundry machine over there, but it's not possible.
Yeah, Eleanor needs a combo dryer
dream.
washer that we need to
That's
send
my
to her.
dream.
They don't have dryers. No dryers.
No, I don't. And when I'm there, I like to make the laundry. That's my favorite activity.
That's the worst thing to do here.
I know, but you should make it by hand in Sicily. That's when you will hate it.
I have all the pictures of us hanging our clothes out in our villa because there was no dry. They just had drying racks.
In this moment, my sheets are outside telling me, remind us before you go to sleep. Yes.
So are mine. Here, you know, I mean, I have a very long balcony and everything is just outside.
Outside, yeah.
I think we could make
losing some socks here and there. Yeah. The thing is that when you hang the laundry outside, you will have less clothes because you will lose something with the wind. And then you go like, the socks are never the same that you put inside the washing machine at the really beginning. None of them goes back to this, to the drawers. So only the survivors, only the warriors. Yeah.
Because you use the dryer, I mean, all over the year. Even in summer, because I mean it's very hot in Omaha, so you could actually avoid or not.
It's not anything to hang outside anymore. There's no place to hang it.
My mother still hangs her clothes out, but 95% of the people in America use their dryers.
Yeah, because they know how to use
it outside.
You see, we have as well a kind of we don't trust the dryer machines because somebody told us that they will kill all the clothes, and so we're like, no, I will never use it.
We're a bit reluctant. We're a bit reluctant on that because I mean, you know, with the silk, I'm thinking about fabrics and I mean, and special things I have. I said, you know, silk, no. And then wool, maybe no.
They have different, like not. So my children take all their clothes and they shove it in the dry or the wash machine on cold, all sorts of colors, and then they take the whole load and they throw it in the dryer.
White with colored ones, everything all together.
Yes, they do. Though I separate them, they don't. But they put on the dryer on high, and they just dry their clothes. Now I use like the delicate cycle, or I use the partial dry. I hang some of the clothes.
But they will be like cookies at the end, like.
They're getting smaller. The clothes.
Kuduruni. You put the denim inside, and then you will have a kuduruni at the end.
That's how they do laundry.
If you're looking for a clothes line, I can set one up in my backyard. I've got one already out there, but it's down right now, but you know, I can string it across and get it up again if you really need a clothesline.
Some areas of homes will not allow it.
What's that?
Homes will not allow a clothesline.
Well, if I live down here by the
I have to show you
the train on top of the hill, and if they're going to complain about it over there.
Okay, now I'll show you my last furniture left by my grandma in my bedroom that is always here. So that's my bed here. And here it is. It's my best friend. Always there. It's always there. On the top what I wore today, but all of them are all clean, and tomorrow they will be in the drawer and something else will be replacing them. And it's always there. I never take it out. So
Well,
it's my best
I
friend.
have the same. They're just standing, so stashed
Terrible.
in the
I
bottom.
hate it. I hate it, but that's how we do. Seeing that we were talking about it.
I won't show you my laundry room. It's too messy.
It's okay. It's okay. It's fine. So that's part of the culture as well. We can teach the new generation how to make the laundry by hand.
The ring, my
Talking with
grandmother
her
had the
clothes.
ring one, yes. So you squeezed out the water and then she hung them in the base outside. Yeah.
Va bene, I think that was such a great meeting today. We had a lot of ideas. We can cut a little bit earlier tonight or this afternoon for you. And we will meet next week, as always.
What time is it there?
Thank you. It's
is it there?
10:30, 10:44 p.m.
Okay, well,
So
see
you're,
everybody next week.
7 hours.
See,
Take care, bye-bye.
thank you
Ciao.
as always together. Ciao, ciao.
Goodbye. Goodbye. all.